The New Zealand Cup has been a celebration of greyhound racing excellence since the days of the Second World War. Christchurch played host for the first time in 1951, and the race formerly known as the New Zealand Championship was permanently allocated to the city in 1972, when racing was conducted at the Marshland Domain. 3 years later, QE2 Park, freshly built for the Commonwealth Games, became the new venue for racing canines in Christchurch. Across the next 2 decades, some of our greatest greys graced the grass there and helped establish the race as one of the top 2 most sought-after titles in the country. Among the winners, the incomparable Misty Anna, back-to-back champion in 1990 and 91, on her way to becoming the first canine to count $100,000 in stakes.
And racing now, and the field away for the DB Draft New Zealand Championship. Microspots made a good beginning, but flying out Misty Anna, she's gone straight to the front from the outside draw. Microspots charging up, but Misty Anna, she's kicked again. It's another championship. Misty Anna wins it from Microspot.
The Christchurch club made the move to Addington in 1997, and among the early winners of the ultimate contest on the new loam surface was the incredible Cecilia Lloyd, who had the honour of winning the last time the great race was known as the New Zealand Championship in 2001, and the first time it was labelled the New Zealand Cup in 2002.
Here comes Cecilia Lloyd down on the inside, grabs the lead, and Cecilia Lloyd goes the line to win it.
Of this year's protagonists, 2 of the 5 kennels represented have been victorious before, but the success of Dave and Jean Fahey is unrivalled. The first of their record 11 New Zealand Cups came in 2006 with Winsome Show, which began a charge of 4 straight victories. In 2012 and 13, their grip on the trophy tightened further with White Air and Opawa Swede.
A Power Speed went up and took the lead. A Power Swede in front, turning for home, and it's got away. A Power Swede is going away to win the New Zealand Cup.
American Warrior's win in 2016 set off an every second year sequence boosted by Bago Bye Bye, then Rock On John, Opawa Superstar, and last year, One Hot Bandit. This season, Katie Wiley is recognised in a new partnership with Dave Fahey, but the driving forces behind the kennel remain the same, and they have a trio of chasers primed for a tilt at 12.
What an incredible look back at Greyhound's biggest race, and a very warm welcome into our New Zealand preview show where we'll be taking a look at the 3 Group 1s on Greyhound's biggest night. And that means we've got our Greyhound experts in studio with me to try and find you all of the winners for our features. Good morning to you, Mark Rosanowski and Andy McCook. So many stories once again this year, including what you've just mentioned with Katie Wiley, of course, looking for her first Group 1 with Dave.
Just quite remarkable that they should post 11, Jean and Dave, and obviously Katie's been part of this, the setup for a few years now, and now she's officially recognised. But when we think about how difficult it actually is to win the New Zealand Cup, to post 11, Andy, within, 2006 was their first, basically a couple of decades. And now, this season, Andy, we look at the numbers, 321 starters for Fahey Wiley, 141 winners, nearly 100 placings. I am not familiar with the jurisdictions of racing countries all around the world, but a strike rate of .5857 has got to be somewhere near the best ever.
It's nothing short of stupid, really, is it? I mean, it's absolutely incredible to think what they do year in, year out, and they do it all year, but somehow leading into Cup Week, they somehow go to another level. I think last year I called it the Fahey phenomenon. It's an unbelievable thing, and you just love to have a yarn about it to Dave one day because it's simply incredible, and you just wonder how they continue to do it.
Yeah, there's nobody that can polish a greyhound quite like that team, as we're going to be taking a look at the full field very shortly. But first up, of course, Cup Week. Our night is always right in the middle, and the weather and track conditions can be quite interesting. I think I remember it last year, Rosso. It was very, very windy. It sounds like we are going to be getting some southerlies. Let's hope those conditions, though, stay fine like we've got the forecast, because there's always a little bit of rain, isn't there too, Andy?
Yeah, there certainly is. Gee, I can remember one year I think I was hosting with Liz Whelan, and we were up on top of the stables, and gee, it absolutely poured down, and the tent we had above us was doing absolutely nothing to keep us dry.
And that's why he turned to commentating, because he's in the box and we have to stand outside, Pip. And for whatever reason, we've had some really good cup weeks, but the weather tends to pack up on the Thursday. and we've had very cold wind or rain, and sometimes both. So we're due a good one. With the Southerlies, it might be settled, but it will be a touch cool.
It will, but look, the Greyhounds won't mind it, I'm sure, as we take a look at the full field for the Springston Hotel New Zealand Greyhound Cup. And Let Cook is our current second favourite at $3.90 for the Roberts Johnson kennel. Of course, he was runner-up in the race last year. Our favourite is from the Fahey Wiley kennel. They've got 3 represented, with Original Warrior at $3.60. But you can just see how open this New Zealand Cup is, with your favourite currently at $3.60. We'll discuss those prices more very shortly, but first, of course, we always say it, box speed is gold in greyhound racing. Where do you see them setting up leading into the first bend?
I think, Pip, because you've talked about just how even this field is and the market, that this is critical, and that's why we've got our man Andy McCook onto the speed map. Original Warrior, the opportunity for him to get forward now in his heat. Andy mentioned it in his commentary, just the exit wasn't that smooth. The second phase acceleration was good. Can he carry himself past the kennelmater powerhouse in box number 2? And Andy, looking at this map, what I'm interested in from your perspective, you see these dogs week in, week out, what sort of pressure will there be on Let Him Cook in the 1?
I think he's the one dog who's drawn to get a clean run through turn 1. Powerhouse has a habit of just taking a little bit of a right-hand step, especially at box rise. We know Let Him Cook can be a little bit funny when he does get any sort of pressure, but he's a dog racing in really big confidence at the moment. 2 wins at Ascot Park, one of which he had Paul Bradley basically outside of him in the turn, and he was able to kick away and put 3 lengths on him. And his run in the heat was very good for him, because he had to withstand pressure through the turn, and usually that leads to Let Him Cook doing Let Him Cook things, but he was able to kick through and do a good job. So I think the speed from the Fahey Wiley runners, the 2 and the 6, and Let Him Cook just looking to get a nice little drag up the inside.
And probably the key other thing we should mention is Paul Bradley. He's out in box number 8, and he looks like he could get caught out on a limb. At least he'll have space, but it didn't work out for him in the South Island Championship. I'm hoping it's better this time.
It certainly didn't, but let's see what happened to him in the heat, because he had the opposite draw. He was drawn down by the rail in the red rug. He did qualify in the fastest heat, 30.28, and we know it's not where he really wants to be, Andy. You can see just in a moment he'll push off a touch and get to that outside, and he finishes off so well. But you're right, it's just that question mark of where he'll be sitting once he comes around this first bend.
It's a funny thing, guys, because he continues to make a liar of me. I continue to say that he's beatable off box 1, and he just somehow finds a way to get to where he needs to be, and he's still too strong for them. I'm happy with him in 8. I think the wide draw suits him, but like you mentioned, Rozzo, there is that opportunity in this that he may just get planted a bit wide through the middle stages, and with that lack of mid-race burn he seems to have these days, I just don't know where he gets to.
Yeah, look, I'm with you on the box 1 thing. I actually feared that he wouldn't qualify. But he was able to make it happen there, as we saw into that first bend. But in that South Island Championship, he got caught out on a limb. And Pip, recently there was a 6-dog field, and I thought he'll win from 8 here. And he finished 3rd, and again, he's just in the wrong place at the wrong time at the first bend. But he's a heck of a dog. He
really is, and I think there's no argument to say that he's probably not quite where he was at that Trevor Wilkes Memorial time when he was winning a race like that. Andy, off camera, we were discussing he's probably racing a little bit more like a Dower Stayer at the moment, but he does have that quality. He's from Craig Roberts' kennel, who has won 3, he's chasing 4, and you just know he'll have him right. For
sure, I think, considering we're talking about our track record holder at Addington, who's won 9 from 27, the fact he's only won 1 or 2 out of his last 13 or 14 goes over 5.25 at Addington just shows that he's not quite where he was. He's still got that strength, but like you say, racing very stayerish, and that mid-race lack of burn is a bit of an issue.
For all that, 2nd in the Auckland Cup, 3rd in the New Zealand Derby, 4th in that South Island Championship. There's one thing missing there, it's a 1st.
It certainly is. And what about the dog that, of course, he had to chase down and only just got on the line, and that is Yuki. The chance here for Gary Cleve. Of course, Gary and Gayleen in the ownership here of this dog by Fernando Bale out of Pearls Are Us. Now, you could argue this is another step up, but he put himself in that race and he took the whole straight to be picked up.
Yeah, he certainly did. He's a nice type, Yuki. He's a really handy young greyhound. Picked up late by Paul Bradley, which obviously is no mean feat. We know how strong he is. My biggest issue for him is drawn immediately outside of Opawa House and where he gets to initially at box rise, because Haas can take a very big step right early, very, very big. And if Yuki's the greyhound in the way, then things probably don't fare well for him.
He hasn't won a Class 5 level. He won a Class 4 at Palmerston North. I've seen a bit of him up there, and I really like the dog. I'd love Gary to win. 34 years ago, he rugged up a dog for me in the New Zealand Championship final. Ran 7th after running 2nd to Misty Anna in a heat. That was in 1991, and the only dog that beat home was Gary's other dog that year, Tofino.
It's all right, Gary.
Look, hey, he's got a great record of the Galaxy, so we'll talk about that a little later. I don't think the Cup win's coming for the kennel, but I'd love them to have some luck.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's a look at the first heat. What about heat number 2? Now, this is where our Power Haas did take it out to win. You're looking for the dog in the blue rug here. And as you said, Andy, you look at him at the head-on. He either holds his line or pushes out wide here. Got in front of Paul Ernest on this occasion, and that was the winning of the race.
Yeah, box 4's a draw that really suits him in the early stages. He runs kind of that line early, so when he draws in close, he does take a fairly noticeable step to the right. I thought he was very good here. I thought Paul Ernest was more than close enough to be running him down. Haas not overly strong, but his effort to kick on and get the job done, I thought pretty solid.
Dog on the up, isn't he, this fella? So young, doesn't turn 2 until December. Just the 23 starts or that lack of experience, but he kind of just keeps getting things done. Power Racing, I think they've got 5 of the 11 Cups for the Fahey team, with a couple of Apowers and 3 Winsomes from back in the day. I think it's come up a bit soon, maybe, for this dog, but gee, it's great to have that injection of the new blood coming through to take on the more established dogs.
Oh, it really is. And let's hear from his co-trainer now, Katie Wiley. And firstly, we just asked her what she made of the box draw.
Very happy with the draw. Very happy with his run tonight, actually. I think he likes the middle of the track, so box 2 shouldn't hinder him too much.
Yeah, that semi-final run tonight was able to reproduce the front-running performance that we saw a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he was a little bit disappointing last week, but yeah, really happy with his run tonight.
And he's clearly capable. All 9 wins have been here on this track over the 525 metres, and he's out of Al Anna. He's got the breeding there. He's from the right kennel, puts himself in the race. He's a chance.
He certainly does. That box speed will take him a long way. I find him a little bit of a funny dog, Rosso. He's kind of really consistent, and he's done it right up to C5 now, and he's still been consistent. He's kind of yet to do anything really startling, though. Like, he just does what he does each and every week, and you sort of... Every week I kind of find myself thinking, well, we could probably take him on this week because, he's yet to really set the world on fire, but he just continues to find a way to do it.
Well, he does, yeah, and he's got that in his favour. The first startling thing he might do is win the New Zealand Cup. That would be something else. You mentioned the breeding out of Al Anna, so he's a brother to Power April, who's a decent chance in the Galaxy. One of so many great litters that will showcase today and throughout the week at Addington.
And of course, another dog that finished behind him was Paul Ernest for Craig Roberts, second of his chances, gained by Bernardo, this dog. And he's got that strength, and he's also run that sub-30 time around Addington.
Was a very good win as well. It was 2 starts ago. He beat home Yuki and beat home Opawa Haas on that occasion. Thinking Haas is a little bit of an issue for him potentially in the early stages, but if you go back to that win 2-back, he drew outside of Haas and he began clean enough that Haas wasn't an issue. So we know he's got that ability and that ability to get across in front of Haas if he turns up in that form, which he's probably going to need to do, but a winning chance.
Yeah, winning chance. I just didn't quite know what to do with him, sort of drawn up the middle, and the fact that he was so good 2-back, and then for all intents and purposes, he did have his chance in that particular heat. And what sort of a run will he get with a sort of a neutral sort of position from him off the boxes? But Craig Roberts is his second runner in this race. 25 years since he trained his first winner, Red Hot Zinger of the Cup. 10 years since Dinah Vickers, one of the greats. And of course, Delisha Barlow was an absolute, a shock really, going back 4 years. So, look, I wouldn't put anything past the kennel.
No, not at all. And sometimes strength is what you need in these cups. As we take you now to heat number 3. Now, this was won by Therapy Tex. You're looking for him in the gold rug, but also want to keep an eye on here on Let Him Cook, who was second to him and just gets tightened up at this point, Andy. I thought he was brilliant in the way he recovered.
Really good from him. I was pretty big on him to get a clean run here, and it didn't really eventuate for him getting tightened up through the turn. And as we know with Let Him Cook, he can throw in the odd randomly bad performance, and usually it's when he gets pressure put on him early, but like I said earlier, racing in really good form, confidence high. Beating Paul Bradley too back at Invercargill. I mean, Bradley was half a length off him on the turn and he kicked away and beat him by 3. It was a really big win. So clean map on paper for mine, and he's on top for me. I give him a pretty big chance.
Yeah, look, on top? Yeah?
Yeah.
You're going with him on top?
I'm going with him on top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Brave, isn't it?
No. Look, the thing is, it's let him cook.
Yeah.
And you just don't know.
There's always that wee question mark.
I don't think the kennel knows. I called him in, this is his 5th Group 1 final.
Yep.
And he, in the Hat-Trick Classic, back in March, he had that race won.
Mm.
I think the kennel are trying to forget that race, actually.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
going to say, I think that's a headache, isn't it?
I don't know what happened. A good dog won it. It's Johnny Football.
It was
but
Let Him Cook doing Let Him Cook
it
things.
just looked like Let Him Cook would win 1 minute, and then when my binoculars went back, what happened?
Yeah.
Not really sure. No one's really sure. Let Him Cook's not even sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely good enough to win, and I nearly had him on top as well, Andy.
Yeah.
Just wanted to be different, that's all. So did pop him in for 2nd in the end. Matt Roberts chased his father 10 years ago with Corborn
Yes,
Brick,
he
and he's
did.
been thereabouts in the Cup. Jack Johnson, 2 champion kids, aren't they? Son of a champion greyhound trainer, son of a champion jockey.
Yeah, now look what they're producing. Maybe can pick up another Group 1. But first, we're going to get to Katie Wiley because Therapy Tex did win that race. And again, we just asked her what she makes of him coming out of box 7.
I'm very happy with the box draw as he runs off a little bit.
Been running into a bit of traffic lately, of course, but today was well in front and well out of trouble.
He's a bit of a funny dog, Tex, but he was due to go blinded, to be fair.
And he is by Aussie Infred out of course, Savannah. Isn't she just incredible? She's got a finalist in the Group 1 over the 525. And then, of course, look at the sprinting racks that she's got in the Galaxy.
You'd love to own her as a broodie, wouldn't you? She has been prolific for many, many seasons, Savannah. He was good in his heat, Therapy Tex. I don't think he's a winning chance come finals day. That was one of his better beginnings. He got left in front with that bit of trouble in behind, and he was able to steal the win. So he's been a handy dog, but I'm not sold he's a cup dog.
Where does he get from 7? It doesn't really help him, does it? Outside Original Warrior, Power Hass potentially pushing up.
Doesn't help him at all.
Yeah.
And he's not always reliable early either.
The thing about him too is that, like, he was the slowest heat winner, 30 and 34, but only a length from the fastest heat winner in Paul Bradley. So everything's sort of really close, including those lead-ups. And so I just think if he jumps as well as that and that's as good as he can do, then he's probably parked 3 wide.
Agree.
And if he's back, then obviously it's a real problem. How do you go, though, winning $50,000 and you're what, probably the 4th best in the litter at the best with Dingo Knight, Everest Sky, Jerry Kohler? I haven't mentioned them all.
Incredible, isn't it? Incredible. And she does it every litter as well, Savannah. She just leaves machine after machine.
Yeah, she's just been, there's just no words for really what she's done. As we now have a look at the profile of Let Him Cook, who was runner-up, of course, in last year's edition by Hooked on Scotch out of Gracias Maestro. And, of course, for Steve Hurd too. And this would be a real moment for him. He's been so close. Yes, he's that funny little dog. Obviously, Andy, you're thinking, though, this time he could get the job done. And it would be fantastic. I mean, imagine if Jack Johnson picks up the silver collar and New Zealand Cup in the same year.
Yeah, it would be good for the kennel, good for Hurdo, as you've mentioned. He's been, a gem in the game for a long time now, and I just give him such a good map on paper here that I think with the confidence he's racing and he gets his opportunity to win it. 2nd last year and a big 2nd as well behind One Hot Bandit. He got past Teasel Go late in the piece, and that's what he's capable of doing when he turns up in the right form.
Look, he's had that 2nd, obviously. His other Group 1 finals, he just hasn't backed up from the heat. 6th in that Hat-Trick Classic that we thought he was going to win, 7th in the South Island Champs. He was 7th in the Wanganui Cup. Now, he won the heat brilliantly. He looked all over the winner. He didn't fire a shot in the final. So he's a dog that confuses me, but look at his record. He's won $130,000 and things point to him being, this is about as consistent as he gets, right? It looks good on paper.
100%.
The map looks good on paper, as
But
Andy
take him with a
says.
grain of salt.
Well,
It's Let Him Cook.
yeah, he's got to be in the mix.
We'll see if he's boiling on the night as we have a look at heat number 4. Original Warrior takes us out back and fresh. What a training performance. Beating home Perfect Harry here. He comes up with box number 4 and 30-32. Pretty good for a dog that we know races on pace.
Very, very fast greyhound, Original Warrior. And the thing with him here, as we've said before, he wasn't actually away as good as he can begin here. He was pretty fair off the lids for him, and then he burnt and got the lead. Had some decent dogs chasing him. Perfect Harry does a good job here to qualify. He's a nice dog, Original Warrior. I think he would need a break on them. He's very, very fast, and he can be setting them up in front, so he could potentially get that break.
Pip, I reckon it's the Warriors' year.
You do.
Yeah, not the team though, not the league team, but Original Warrior. Because look at that there, it was just an average beginning, wasn't it? And then that acceleration, okay, gap was there for him. He's won a Group 1, New Zealand St Leger. It's not the strongest Group 1 going around, but it's, you know, it's pretty useful these days. Sense of timing about this. Look, both of you two have been around greyhounds pretty much all your lives, right? So any theory, second up syndrome, is that a thing with the dogs? Is that anything to be worried about coming off a break, one trial, that heat?
I think it's always that small question mark, isn't it, in the back of your mind. I think it's probably more prevalent with gallopers than it is with greyhounds, but you do have that wee question mark. After he's had to burn hard to get the lead as well, and what that's taken out of him.
And I think sometimes too, even maybe more so for stayers, but if there's one kennel that probably can have the right polish on come this night, I think they've got the right one, and the 11 Cups say it, right? So let's find out from Katie Wiley just about him having those 2 months off and how he's come back in.
He just hurt his calf muscle a little bit, so he's been out for a spell, and he's been working up very nicely, trialling very well, and luckily, yeah, straight semis for the Cup.
And we saw that tonight, the really good return. What do you make of box 6?
Very happy with the box draw. He usually jumps and runs, so as long as he's doing that, we'll be very happy.
And he's buying Mapwanga Blazer out of Rock on Annie for the Southern boys as well. So good luck to them. He's shooting for win 16 and another Group 1 on the track.
Yeah, just a fast dog, isn't he? He's got that burn. That recent trial, 16.70, that shows how fast he is. He's not overly strong business end of his races, like I've said, but if he is the greyhound that's looking to steal it out in front, getting that clean run, well, he's suddenly a big winning chance, isn't he?
Yeah, look, it took me a long time to come up with a winner in this race, and I ended up going with him. When it comes to the Fahey's, though, it's not their year, because since 2016 they win it every second year, 18, 20, 22, 24. Well, 25 doesn't work.
No, that's the thing, isn't it? Well, what about another young trainer that has a chance to pick up the Group 1 is Dylan Voice. We caught up with him, and Mark Cookson just asked him about how consistent Perfect Harry is.
Yeah, no, it's a big effort from the dog. He sort of had 6 or 7 weeks on the sideline, and he just had the blowout at Invercargill last week to get him prepared for tonight. And now we're stoked to get him through to the final. Hopefully he's improved with the run. He should be. And yeah, the draw not ideal, but we'll see what happens.
And speaking of good brood bitches, Charlotte Lou, of course, she was very good on the track herself. He's by Fernando Bale, one of the best sires there is. He's shooting for win 11. And wouldn't it be fantastic for someone like Dylan to pick up a Group 1? I mean, this is what you dream of, Andy, when you become a trainer.
It certainly is, especially in the New Zealand Cup. It's the big one, isn't it? It's the one you want on the mantelpiece. He's a nice dog, Harry. I think he's a slice of overs here. He'd need an inch of luck to win it because he's not electric early, but he's broken 30 seconds. He's got mid-race burn. That heat was solid from him. I think he's a really decent hope of running a top 4 at a big price.
Yeah, he's a dog who at times has surprised me with his strength at the business end against some really good dogs. Now, I saw him run 3rd in the New Zealand Futurity at Hattrick, and it was behind Boom Dynamite. And of the restricted age races, I always rate the Futurity because it's towards the end of the season. It's for both sexes. It's for imports and New Zealand breds. And, you know, to get a placing in that, you've got to be a pretty serious dog. So, yeah, it would be great for Dylan, wouldn't it? Oh,
it would be fantastic. Have you got him in your 4, Andy, as we get selections?
I haven't got him in 4. I found this cup very hard, to be honest. I think it's a very even cup with a number of winning chances, and every possibility I haven't got the winner in 4 here, to be completely honest. I am with Let Him Cook. I think his map on paper is just sensational, and hopefully for the team he can make the most of it. Poor Ernest after that effort 2 back. I think he has to be a player. He just needs to turn up in that sort of form again. Original Warrior with the speed, as is Opawa has, so slotted both the Fahey Wiley, 2 of the Fahey Wiley runners into calculations just with that speed.
Pip, he hasn't got Paul Bradley in.
It did pain me.
I know who you've got on top. You haven't got Original Warrior in. That's who I've got on top. I've gone with the 6 Original Warrior. I've gone for the Fahey team to buck the trend and get consecutive cups rather than every second year. Let Him Cook, well, I couldn't leave him out of the numbers. Had to have him in there somewhere. I love Paul Bradley as a dog. Again, just not quite sure about that run that he's going to get from box 8, just the way that he's racing at the moment. But the bottom line is he did get that win in the heat, albeit off box 1. But, you know, not in typical box 1 manner for most dogs. Yeah, he's got a bit about him. And you know that you're still in the race, you know, even if he's a little bit off the pace, even if he's not pulling them in like he used to. And had to put in Paul Ernest as well. I just wasn't quite sure what to do with him. We know he's good enough to win, and I wouldn't want him sort of not in the numbers. Like Andy, maybe I've missed the winner.
I think that just shows how open this race is, right? Because yes, I have gone Paul Bradley and I did pain over it, but I just liked what he had to do to get to where he wanted to be off box number 1. Maybe there's tightening up the inside and he is the dog that gets the right run. My gut just said Paul Bradley, so I'm just going with it. I'll let him cook, I agree. I just think he gets a really good map. Thought he was brilliant in the heat. Would not surprise me to see him pick up the win. He can't not have a Fahey Wiley runner in there. I've got to have a powerhouse. I think if he gets forward, maybe they can't catch him too. He maps well. And Paul Ernest for me too. I just go back to that run, as you said, Andy, when he broke the 30 seconds. Phenomenal effort. If he won the race too, wouldn't surprise. So that's the way we see it for what is a very, very open Springston Hotel New Zealand Cup. Time for us to take a quick break. Don't go too far though. We're about to concentrate in on our second Group 1, the Galaxy.
Power Marsh turning it on, then Jerry Kohler finding trouble. Ripslinger Rory through under Greyhounds, trying to come with him very rarely. And behind the Midnight Brocky, it's O'Power Marsh on the turn. He snuck away, and O'Power Marsh gets the Galaxy.
Yes, he was too good last year. Of course, Dave Fahey and Jean Wiley picking up the race, and they've got 4 chances again this year. But of course, with Katie Wiley as co-trainer and 2 brothers in the inside draws.
Yeah, they have. That was their 4th win in the Galaxy, their first coming out 2010 with Octane Spark, which I remember quite fondly. Marsh, the 4th of their winners last year. And Andy, they also have the ability to train the Cup and Galaxy double, which they've done once as well, which is quite remarkable.
It certainly is. I think the big differing thing this year, and probably last year as well, is those other Galaxies, they probably only had 1 dog, maybe 2 in them. Last 2 seasons, they've been dominating over the sprint journeys, which isn't something we've seen from the Fahey team very often, if at all, apart from the last 2 seasons. O'Power Marsh would have been in here up until a month ago. You know, injury got him. Jerry Kohler hasn't qualified. O'Power Evans hasn't qualified, and they've still got the 4 favourites, and they look at a real chance of not only winning it, but taking out a big slice of everything.
And Jerry Kohler, favourite last year, missed the kick. Railway, missed the kick. And unfortunately, he's not here. Andy, I actually thought that he was still going to qualify on the home bend in that heat.
He was very good. I mean, he has been castled early. You go and watch that head on. Georgie Pye got him first, and then Claus and Brick just absolutely put pay to his chances. Recovery very good. Had he have qualified, it would have been some sort of effort.
It really would have been. But let's take a look at our market and our final field here for the home kill guys at Galaxy Sprint, where you can see favourite is a Pawa Mocha from the kennel. He's unbeaten out of box number 6 at $2.50. Dingo Knight also second favourite at $2.70. They're dominating the market from the brother Everest Sky at $4.80. What about the all-important speed map? No more than over the 295 metres.
Oh, critical. And, you know, I have seen some messy Galaxies in my time, I've got to say, Andy. Look, you were pointing out last week how many dedicated railers there are there at Addington, and it affected the heats. And consequently, a lot of the dogs drawn straight and wider have qualified, which makes for a really interesting speed map.
It really does. We have dogs drawing in boxes they basically never see. Everest Sky in box number 2, he hasn't been in this close for probably 12 months. Hadwin Bale draws box 8 basically every week, or 7 or 8 every week. He slots into a middle draw. Again, suits him fine. So things are really interesting in terms of draws. Also early speed, very hard to map, as you can tell by what's going on here. Dingo and Everest good off the inside. Dingo reasonably reliable as a rule. And then you've got the 3 out wide. Hadwin Bale, Opawa Mocha, Opawa April. You can probably add Lady Daisy into that as well, who can pick it and run, but very hit or miss. Hadwin has that ability to really roar off the lids when he's on. Mocha is in scintillating form, as is April. So that probably doesn't answer a lot of questions, to be fair, guys, but it's that sort of galaxy.
Yeah, look, it might have thrown up a few more, but Pip, we're about to go through the runners and hopefully we'll answer those questions.
Yeah, we certainly will. Well, let's have a look at semi-final number 1, where Everest Sky does win it, beating Hadwin Vale. Now, he's out wide in the green rug on this occasion, but he comes into box number 2, where he remains unbeaten. And the best thing about him, Andy, as you said, he actually is a railer. You can see him shoot straight down here, rail up beautifully for a 16.79 win.
Yeah, 5.62 early as well. It wasn't the fastest opening split, but not a mile off it. We're only talking sort of a length and a half difference between fastest and slowest opening splits here, with the exception of Priority, who was a fair way off them. But he's got that speed. He comes into a draw he basically never sees. It'll suit him fine. He gets a good map with Mitchum Jesse outside of him as well. So there's a lot of ticks in the right boxes for him.
And I think what I'm hearing, Andy, is at $4.80 and his brother's at $2.70. Should there be $2 between them? I
don't think so. Dingo probably slightly more reliable early than Everest, but Everest has a faster winning time. He's coming in super form. He's coming up with a draw he's never had in a long time. So a lot of ticks in the right boxes for him and a winning hope. 9
wins from the last 11 starts, 2 seconds as well, although look at the form lines, there's quite a few that can boast that sort of thing.
There really is, and he's a Group 1 winner, of course, taking out our other sprint Group 1 in the Railway. And Mark Cookson actually asked co-trainer Katie Wiley just about and how the preps have compared.
It's been very similar. We've actually given him a 4.57 recently at Palmy because he is a stronger sprinter, and then we've just kept him nice and fresh for race day.
He's another by this Aussie infrared Ice Savannah litter. He's 129. He's shooting for 30 in his second Group 1 over a sprint trip.
He gets a really good map here as well. Mitchum Jesse, another dog who is down as a railer. He doesn't draw in close very often either. He does step right early, and he's done it on more than one occasion, Mitchum Jesse, before railing through the turn. One of those really hard dogs to map because of his style, but he could potentially give the inside pair a lot of room here initially, and the speed they've got, they don't need a whole lot of room to show that.
No, that they don't, and appropriate to have him in the green rug there because that's what he's used to wearing. And as I say, the black and white goes on, he'll be thinking, hang on a minute.
I don't have to go so far to the rail. It'll be interesting. It'll also be interesting where this dog gets to. Hadwin Vale for Craig Roberts, obviously second in his heat. He came off box number 7. And as you said, Andy, he's a dog that can really step, but he's also got that powerful finish too.
He is unbelievable off the lids when he wants to be, Hadwin, and we probably haven't seen that in his last probably 10 or 12 starts. Gee, early on he'd put 4 lengths on them in about 3 strides. He was unbelievable. He's one of the quickest beginners we had. Sort of turned that around a bit now. He's not quite flying off the lids like we know he can, but he's got a bit more strength about him. As Pip said, he's now fairly good through the line, and we know Craig will have him ready to rumble on the day. So I actually give him an each-way chance, Hadwin, at a very big price, and not only for him, but he holds a big key for Mocha.
Yeah, indeed. Look, I was thinking about having him in at a price, Pip, purely on the Roberts factor. He has got 5 Galaxies, 25 years since his first with Blighton Bale, and he did the Cup Galaxy double that year. Levi Bale a couple of years ago, of course, one of our favourites. And look, his last win was August, and he didn't break 17 seconds, and I'm just not sure he's going to be sharp enough.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks around him as we take you to semi-heat number 2 here, where Power April wins it. You're looking for the dog out wide wearing the pink rug, beats home Mitchum Jesse, who was drawn wide on this occasion, and she's just in great form as well. Yes, she was beaten prior to this by Smoking Ivan. She's won 12 from 15 on the track, and she loves it wide.
She's very good, April, got good speed. Again, not 100% reliable initially off the lids, but even when she's not, she burns very, very quickly. Second phase is phenomenal. 5.54 she got through the first line, as we see Claus and Brick just absolutely putting pay to poor old Jerry Kohler, who copped all of that left shoulder of his, and April was obviously left out in her own land, as was Mitchum Jesse, hence they've run 1 and 2, but April very definitely a winning hope.
You did warn the punters, Andy, because it just mapped that way, and sometimes things happen and dogs aren't quite where you think, and I was hoping for the best for Jerry, because I thought because of the body of work that he's put together, not only being the Derby winner, but what he's done as a sprinter, it would be great to have him there, but he is gone. A Power April, 16 from 24, here we go again, but a Greyhound that's not 2 yet, a sister to Opawa Hass. And again, one where Pip, she's not going to get quite the same run. That's pretty obvious, right? To
100%.
what she got there, and maybe that's why I've looked elsewhere.
Yeah, she's got a lot of speed underneath her. Let's find out what her co-trainer thinks. Katie Wiley, and Mark just asked her what she made of her win.
She was super. She loves box A, and yeah, very nice to see her out in front.
And as you said, she is by this Aussie infrared, our Anna Litter, looking for that 17th win and another for the Opawa Racing Limited team. What an association they've had with the kennel.
Simply phenomenal for a long time, haven't they been? And I mean, you know, obviously Dave and Jean and now Katie, they get the pick of the Opawa Greyhounds, so they are able to pick and choose and grab the best. But as we know, having the best doesn't mean anything if you can't put the polish on, and they are certainly specialise in doing that.
Yeah, Opawa Marsh last year, of course, for the Opawa Racing team, and a couple of years back, or 3 now, I think, Opawa Rider.
Now let's have a look at Mitchum Jessie. She comes up with box number 3 in the final, where she had 7 in the heat. She's for Jonathan McInerney, of course, trains for the CQ Syndicate by Eminent Reality out of Flower Bomb. Of course, Ashley Bradshaw did have there for a little bit. What do you think about her, though, with the 3, as you said, can be a little bit tricky, Andy?
Nice dog. The head-on of that is actually paramount to what I was talking about earlier. He was in the gold rug there, and he takes a bit of that right-hand hook early before wanting to rail through the turn. Makes him very, very hard to map, as you guys know, with greyhounds. It's sort of... they are railers around the turn, but, you know, initially... and I mean, essentially, that's what preferential box draws are supposed to be, what they do initially. And he definitely steps right. So... again, he's in the right form. He's been very good this preparation. He's a nice dog. He's run fast times. Whether he's in it or not, he holds a very big key for some of the favourites. Yeah, indeed. Look, the McInerney name has a strong association with this race. John won it first in 1996 with Cecilia Bale, who was the mother of Cecilia Lloyd, who was a dual New Zealand Cup winner. The last time the kennel won it was 2014 with Sozin's Comet, and actually that was the first year, Pip, that it became a Group 1.
There you go. So they've got a good record, and maybe they have a chance there with Mitchum Jessie. As we take you to semi-final number 3 here, and this is Dingo Knight picking up the win, and he is wearing the red rug too, so he comes out of the same draw, 5.63 early here, beating Lady Daisy. And I actually did think a dog like Mitchum Jessie, and maybe even his brother, gives him the room he needs. Yeah, agree with you. He's a really good dog. He's in good form. He was able to stay under From Now On early there, and I know she's a young greyhound, but so far she has been one of the most reliable beginners I've seen in a very, very long time, and he was able to stay underneath of her. 5.63, copped a small check there, probably takes him down to a 5.60 maybe. I think only bettered by Mocker if he takes a flyer, so he's definitely a winning hope. Yeah, 16 races since he's been out of the money. Dates way back to July. Andy, you talked about him, you know, being reliable, and you have to be, obviously, in the sprints, otherwise you can't keep up that sort of record. Last 13 starts, 11 wins, 2 placings. Sounds just like his brother, doesn't it? It certainly does. Boy, they're a good litter. As we get back to Katie, and Mark just put it to her, box number 1, he's absolutely lethal.
Yeah, I hopefully has some improvement as well, because there was a bit of bumping with the other dogs in the race, though. He should probably be okay in box 1 because they'll all be going right.
And he is from this litter, Aussie and Fred I Savannah. For Jean and Dave, they own him themselves too, so it'll be fantastic for him to get his Group 1 glory, and he's looking for win 31, unbelievably. 25 from 33 over the 295 at Addington with 7 minor placings. It's kind of hard to get a better record than that, but most of these top-line sprinters of the Fahey Wiley team have that record, as you've mentioned. So he comes up with the A to box 1, only dedicated railer, really clean map. Pretty easy to paint a picture for him winning. Got to be in the mix, doesn't he? It means too that the team have done very well to maintain the winning strike rates by keeping these dogs apart as much as they possibly can. Very, very good. Like I said, if you add Jerry Kohler, Opawa Evans, Opawa Marsh up until a month ago, just to name a couple of others as well, and you know, to keep up these records is simply phenomenal. And now they've got that coming through the grades as well. So, yeah, they're certainly not short of a talented sprinter. There's dogs on the undercard like 1 up, 2 down. Yeah. They're just win, picket fence. It's just phenomenal. And they travel them too, where they can keep them separate, and that's just so key as well. But what about Lady Daisy? Bruce Dan's got a chance to pick up the Group 1 with her. We see her run second, obviously behind Dingo Knight. Tricky map though, with a lot of speed underneath her, and they stick wide, a few of these dogs.
Yeah, it's hard to see her getting around them. She's a handy little greyhound in her own right. She doesn't have the brilliance of the Fahey Wiley runners, and very, very hit or miss early as well. She has that ability to come out clean, but she can also come out last as well when she gets it wrong. So she won't want to be doing that, but even off a good beginning, it's hard to see her working around a quality field like this.
Yeah, look, she hasn't won at Class 5 level. Her last win in June was Class 4. It's the 30th anniversary since Bruce Dan won the Galaxy with Rubomania in 1995, and she ran third the following year. He's always got a nice dog around him, hasn't he, Bruce?
Yeah, he certainly does a good job, doesn't he? And quite a small team these days as well. I know he's sort of never had a big team, but always did a fair bit of breaking in for quite a lot of people, even the cold team. So not doing quite as much of that these days, but just a small race team and still doing a super job.
Yeah, you'd love to see him win it, and good luck to the Connections as we have a look at the last semi-final number 4 here, where Phillipa Morris wins again here, beating home, of course, Priority. Completely different racing styles, and Morris was very good on the outside draw, unbeaten from box number 6 too, Andy, where he draws in the final.
He's a very fast dog. I think he's a deserved favourite just solely on what he's done lately. 5.52, 16.53, comfortably the fastest qualifier, fastest through the first split. The one concern with him is, again, he's not 100% reliable his first couple of strides. He can be just half a stride and then burn. And if he does that on Thursday, the map's not that good.
Yeah. Look, I actually tried to find ways of him being beaten, but I did keep coming back to him because of the times that he just continues to put up. Out of a Power Tab, the mum of a Power Superstar, the Cup winner of 2022. And yeah, as I say, I was trying to come up with reasons for this dog to be beaten. He's won 7 of his last 9 in 2 seconds. Sound like anyone else?
Oh, I know. It's just, that's the thing. You just don't know. But I just thought maybe with a couple of his kennel mates underneath him that could hold him out could be the key. But at the same time, he could just jump, go to the front, and he's putting up the times. That's the question marks, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very hard to know. I think we'll know very quickly after box rise, depending on what Hadwin does. I think he probably holds the big key to Mocha if he takes one of his flyers. But and so he's a pretty sensible dog too, though, Mocha. Like, you know, he's not going to be trying to crunch over or do anything silly himself. So, yeah, like you, I thought, the draw, the 1 and the 2, but I just couldn't go away from him with what he's been doing.
And he's still at 260, which is probably backable to find out as we have a look at the Gary Cleve runner now, Priority, of course. And he just brings in different form because we've seen him quite often at Palmerston North lately, Rosso, and he stands there at the boxes, but he's just got this sensational second phase acceleration. But I don't know if he can afford to do it in this race.
Look, he can't. I remember, though, I think it was 2012 when Clone Your Own won for Alison Lee and was one of the last ones away, was able to loop the field because the others were just all over each other. I don't think we get the map for that sort of schmozzle, which would help Priority, obviously. In that heat, Andy, he was quite a bit closer than I anticipated, and he sort of always looked like he was going to qualify. And of course, he has run some fast times when things have gone his way, but I think it's March since he won 295 at Addington. Gary Cleve's the quiet achiever in the Galaxy. He won the very first one in 1993 with Chariot Delight at QE2 Park, and he's won 4, which is pretty tremendous. But they all sort of came 99, 2006, and 2011 was the last one, Fireman's Salute. If he could get to 5, he can get up there with Roberts and Cole and McInerney. Be a pretty fair effort from the team. And again, his breeding too. Like, he just knows how to breed a dog. He's even got that nice litter coming through. So wish them the best of luck. But we do need to try and pick the top 4. Who are you with, Andy? I just couldn't go away from Mocha, to be fair. I've tried like you. I tried to go with the map and say, well, it's not perfect for him. And obviously at this level, you need everything to be going right as well. But with what he's doing lately, I just couldn't go past him. Just want to see him make a clean beginning. 5.52, 16.53, that wins this even with the calibre of field he's against. So found him on top of the 2 map plays, Everest Sky Dingo Night. Everest, the obvious value, I think, in terms of $4.80 on an each way basis, and the 7.0 Power April for the Fahey Wiley top 4, which looks a fairly decent hope. Indeed. Yes, look, I angsted over this, and then had a wee sneaky look to see what Andy had picked. No, I've gone with Opawa Mocha, and it means I'm looking for a Fahey Box 6 double for the Cup and the Galaxy. Dingo Night off the inside, Everest Sky. I mean, it's just very hard to leave them out. I mean, it's hard to believe of those three, there's something actually has to finish outside the top two. I actually think Mitchum Jesse is a rough chance to lob into the four. He's only had 2 runs back from the spell. He should be better for those, and I think he's an opportunity. You know, he's a very quick dog. They're all quick dogs, obviously.
You go back 4 starts, he's run 16.68, which has him right up there with running top 3 or 4.
Yeah, so I'm not backing him straight out. Obviously, I'm not a 1/3 on him or anything like that. But quite happy to have him in for top 4 anyway for first 4 players.
I'm with the Fahey Wiley kennel as well, but I'm a latte girl, so I'm actually going to go for a Dingo Night. I think he just maps beautifully to get the right run, and I think Everest Sky is it as well. I feel like Mitchum Jesse could just play a part, and I think the other dogs trying to get around each other completely different, but that's why I'm going for it. So Mocha in for 3rd. I think the Fahey Wiley kennel can take the top 4. I think April can follow her in, and they might have a very, very good time in the Galaxy. So that's what we're liking. We're going to take another break, and we're going to be talking all things stayers off the other side.
He's opened up now, Chief Dribble, and our star stayer's gonna bolt right away. He is simply too slick.
And he's back to defend his title in this year's running of our Stayers Cup. Chief Dribble, he was the Stayer of the Year at the Greyhound Awards, deservedly so, and he looks the dog to beat.
Quite clearly, he is the star, isn't he? And he has been for a couple of seasons now. And just the way he does it is unbelievable. 16.96 he clocked for a sprint the other day, and then he kicks on and blows them away over 700 metres. I was on with Dan on Wednesday for the heats, and I said to him, I think the hardest thing for him is coming up with new superlatives to describe him.
No, you're exactly right. $258,000 so far for this dog, defending champ here. He's won a silver collar. He ran a slashing second to Opawa Corbin in this year's silver collar. Never get tired of seeing him. He's looking to go back to back, and I would have thought, given the stayers that have won this over the years, and all the very best stayers just about have, that there would have been quite a few dual winners, back-to-back winners, and there actually hasn't been. Go back to 1990-91. Mine's a Rookie, a stayer for the late Charlie Lyle, went back-to-back. And then the same decade, Shorty Bijou, who had a cult following and one of everybody's favourites of the time, he was able to go back-to-back as well. That was in 94 and 95. For Mike and Wendy Lalliot, but of course that was at the old QE2. And Andy, it was 805 metres on the grass track, and I tell you what, when that track got heavy and Shorty Bijou was scooting around the outside, there was only going to be one winner.
Bit of a slog for everything else on pick. I mean, you're going too far back for me now, Rosso, to be fair. I mean, do you have to write this stuff down? Like, do you write the stuff down, or is this just in the memory bank and you just rip it out?
Memory's a little bit hazy, and you know, the thing about it is it used to be run in July. And
it's even worse.
Yes, so it used to be quite heavy on the track there, and 805 on a heavy track was really tough, obviously.
Did you ever go out and have a dig at it yourself?
No, I did not.
Just to see how tough it was?
No, I couldn't do that. I was got over the 330. But the race was moved to become part of New Zealand Cup night, what was it, 2020, I think, with Student Loan and the Faheys there, and they've done well in it over the years, as you'd expect. But I just wrote down a few, and I thought, I'll write down 3 or 4. I wrote down Thrilling Rogue, Dinah Wesland, Ring the Bell, Shandell, Thrilling Brat, Swift Fantasy, Bet on Bessie, one of your faves, Aqua Floss, Steiny Blue, Swanee Hobbs. I mean, who do you leave out of that?
That's incredible. And what a lineup of dogs. Well, I think you can add his name to it as we take a look at the market here. The Rose and Thistle New Zealand Stayers Cup to go back to back. Hopefully when we're looking back at history, because you can see in the market, they think he will be. He's $1.25 as this Greyhound for the Roberts Johnson kennel, who have 3 of the 5 runners. A par with Shirley's the biggest danger, according to the market, at $3.80. Now, many might think that a speed map's not important over a 732 metre distance, but it absolutely is, gentlemen. So what do we think is going to happen?
Yes, it is important, and I've stressed this many times, Andy, to people who are sort of new or casual to greyhound racing, that you still want to be in the right spot early on and have clear air, and that's the beauty of Chief Dribble, because you can do it at both ends, and not many stayers can. We've had the dogs like Shorty Bijou and the Swift Fantasy, and they're absolutely brilliant to watch, but the hardest to beat are the ones who can do it at the front. This dog, as you spoke before, with his sub-17 splits, he quite legitimately could have been in the heat of the Galaxy, heat of the New Zealand Cup. He's been an Auckland Cup finalist, and obviously this race is kind of his for the taking.
It looks it on paper. I know the team were angsting over the decision of whether to go for this or the New Zealand Cup. There was a hope he went for either. Obviously, this race on paper looked a fairly much an easier target for him. Can tell you, talking about easy targets, the speed map was a whole lot easier than the Galaxy as well, just quietly. Chief Dribble's the leader. Opawa surely gets handy. It's basically what they've been doing the last couple of starts, with the exception of the Cambridge run where Dribble missed away, but that's unlike him. Grandview Ace is that sort of funny little greyhound that begins relatively cleanly before getting outpaced. So initially I think she'll be on tempo and looking to slot over into third behind the two faves.
Okay, so looks like we've got a much cleaner map here, Pip, and I guess, you know, that's why we're looking at $1.25. Maybe that's value.
It certainly could be, because we'll take you to the race on the semi-final and Cup heat night. Now, there was no heats, of course, this year for the New Zealand Stayers Cup, but we still got this straight-out race for the fitness for these greyhounds, and it's pretty much what we're meeting, obviously, on Thursday night here. And you just see him. He's got the pace, as you said, Andy, to get up in the front. He puts up sensational sprint times, but then he just does it at all ends.
16.96 early. I mean, as Rozo's mentioned, it wouldn't be out of place in a Galaxy heat, to be fair. He is just a sensational greyhound. He gets the top. I think probably one of his biggest wins was at Cambridge, where he actually missed away and Shirley snuck away on him, and he was still able to run her down, covering a lot of territory down the back straight as well. He went very, very wide that day. That was their chance to beat him. That was their chance, and even though Shirley was clear in front, was her first 700 to be fair to her, but that was her chance, and he was still too good.
6 consecutive seconds for poor old Opawa Shirley. 4 of them to Dribble and 2 of them to Johnny Football. So you're chasing some of the best. And look, it's such a shame we're down to a field of 5 here. The staying ranks are never, you know, there's not a heap of them about. But through a variety of circumstances, there are actually quite a few reasonable stayers around, but they're just not here at the present time. But we shouldn't sniff at what these dogs have done. Chief Dribble, I mentioned $258,000. Grandview Ace, $214,000 and about to retire, you're saying last run, Andy?
It will be the last start for her, Bobby Pringle telling us that the other day. So it would be good to see her go out on a win. I'm not sold she can beat Dribble, but hopefully she can run a race for Connections. And what a story she's been. One dog in the backyard for Bob after breeding the litter, and he's travelled the country with her in the back seat. Involved in a car crash not overly long ago either on his way home, that they were probably both half lucky to walk away from. So it's been a big story, the Grandview Ace story, and hopefully it can go out on a fairy tale ending.
Won it 2 years ago, twice a Group 1 winner at Wanganui as well. She's been fabbed, $215,000. Then we look to Opawa Corbin, of course. He's the Duke of Edinburgh Silver Collar winner, $103,000 in the bank, and sister Opawa Louise has clocked up 100 starts now. Sitting on $92,000 in stakes. Opawa Shirley, a paltry $83,000. Some money to be made in these staying ranks.
There really is, and you're right about little Grandview Ace. I mean, what a moment that would be. Still one of my favourite interviews ever, talking to Bob after that race. And could you imagine if she does it on her swan song too? I feel like he'd want to go around again though, wouldn't he, Andy?
He would, I'd say he would. She's been a marvel, hasn't she? And yeah, just talking about interviews, I was talking to Rozo about this on the way here in the car. Probably one of the best interviews I've ever been a part of is when we took the camera crew to the Grandview golf course, and I've never had talent tell camera crew what to do like Bob Pringle did. He was instructing them where to stand and how to film what he wanted filmed. So that was good, and that piece came together really well. But that was Bobby P being Bobby P.
Well, look, he's just been a great promoter of our sport, has Bob Pringle, for decades now, firstly in the Wairarapa and now these days, obviously, down in Canterbury. She hasn't won since she won a heat of the Silver Collar, and she ran 5th in that final. Opawa Corbin hasn't won since the collar. Pawa Louise, I think it was March 2024, ahead of the Team McDonald, but she keeps going quite well. And poor old Shirley, well, she's trying desperately to win, and she's good enough too, but she just runs into the wrong dogs. The only dog that's got wins in the form line there is Chief Dribble, and it's just hard to paint a picture that it won't happen again.
It really is. So, Andy, I have a feeling you've got him on top. Who have you got behind him?
Hard not to be with him, isn't it? Chief Dribble on top. By par with Shirley, I think we'll see a similar exacta to last week. I think the trifecta close to the same as well with Corbin, and hopefully little GVA can run a race for Bob and all of Geraldine that'll be tuned in to watch her in her last race, no doubt.
Yeah, that's a fact. Going with, obviously, the favourite Chief Dribble, who I think at $1.25 I'd be happy to put into any multi that I was taking on the night. Apawa Shirley, her form line says she'll run second, and I do think she will again. Look, I did put GVA in for third. Look, possibly just sentimental because, you know, you'd think perhaps on balance maybe Apawa Corbin runs third, given he's just had that extra run lately. But anyway, you're wearing the pink rug, and let's hope the pink rug goes a big race.
Exactly, and look, I put her in for third as well. I could not have a little GVA in there, but it is, I think, sentimental too. It's got to be Chief Dribble. I'll be playing that exacta all night, I think, with the Apawa Shirley in behind, GVA for me and Apawa Corbin. But one dog, I think, that will be going back to back in the stayers will be Chief Dribble unless bad luck beats him.
Yeah, and it's sort of like he is the standout in the 3 Group 1s, but Andy, we're lucky in that the other 2 Group 1s, we've got remarkably even markets and the opportunity to actually genuinely make a bit of money if we get the right one.
Very even. I think it's probably one of the most even cups I've ever seen, and in terms of ability, probably one of the best galaxies that I have seen. You talk about $1.25, good money for him for a multi on Cup night. He's a lock for multis Cup week. We've obviously got Cup day for the Trotters tomorrow, Tuesday. Second day on Wednesday at Riccarton. So there's plenty of options here. These odds are already out, $1.25. Any multi you're taking Cup week.
Pop them in.
I don't want to put the big jinx on him. I don't want to put the big jinx on him, the big commentator's curse that we know does exist. But
got beaten 2 starts back this dog.
Unfortunately for him, he's going to be part of out the gate as well. So hopefully that curse doesn't strike him as well. But I think if you're taking any multi-cup week, he's an extra 25% on whatever your return's going to be.
It's going to be a very special night, and hopefully he makes it special for plenty of multis and just for the team as well. I mean, they've got chances too right throughout all 3 Group 1s.
Yeah, they're another, Andy, great story of the new season, the partnership between Matt Roberts and Jack Johnson, 2 young men that have been able to do it on their own, so to speak, and Matt for obviously a significantly longer period of time, but gee, as a combination, they've been lethal. Absolutely.
I mean, we talk about the Fahey-Wiley UDR, well, Matt and Jax is flying as well. They're absolutely airborne this season and doing a really good job. So, yeah, it'll be a big night. It'll be a big night, probably a relatively emotional night this year too, guys. But, yeah, can't wait to get involved.
We know you'll be warm in your commentary box, and Pip, you and I are just sweating on the weather.
Yeah, I'll be rugging up warm, I think. But either way, it's certainly a night that you want to get down to for its incredible action. Even on the undercard, some of our fields are just absolutely mouth-watering. It's been a pleasure, team, and hopefully we've found you the winners. Make sure you're tuning in on Thursday night to catch all of the action. Myself, Rozo and Andy McCook will be taking you through. Until then, we'll see you next time.